Hello and welcome to another glorious Mother's Day! I'm not confused. In the UK, we have Mother's Day in March because we're not complete weirdos. And I thought it'd be a nice treat to review a classic film about mothers and to review it with my own mum. So here she is. Hi, Mum. You okay?
Pay me back, you pissworm!
Okay. Terms of Endearment tells the story of Aurora Greenway, played by Shirley MacLaine. She sadly loses her husband and becomes a controlling mother to her child Emma, played by Debra Winger. However, Emma soon wishes to escape her mother's overbearing nature by quickly marrying Flap. No, seriously, that's his real name.
His father says he's a real wart.
What?
A carbuncle, a blister, a festering pustule of malignant ooze.
Played by Jeff Daniels, and they start having babies. The film doesn't really have a very strong narrative. Emma and her family endure issues while her mother is being chased by Danny DeVito and Jack Nicholson, but despite their issues, they always remain close and power through absolutely everything together. Although it's based on the 1975 Larry McMurtry novel of the same name, director James L. Brooks tweaked some of the characters. In the book, Garrett, played by Nicholson, wasn't even in it. Brooks created him, originally with Burt Reynolds in mind for the part, but he turned it down, though Reynolds later admitted that he was a complete idiot for doing so. James Garner was then approached, but also rejected the offer. The role of Emma's best friend Patsy was offered to Kim Basinger, but she turned it down to star in The Man Who Loved Women instead. Oh hey, that film must be about me, The Man Who Loved Women.
Are you a pig?
Well, no, but...
Do I allow pigs in my house?
The character of Emma was originally going to be played by Sissy Spacek, but she turned it down. Real-life mother and daughter Janet Leigh and Jamie Lee Curtis were considered for Aurora and Emma at one point, and Jodie Foster was offered the part of the latter but had to turn it down due to her studies. Ironically, despite the premise of the film being the unity of mother and daughter, Shirley MacLaine and Debra Winger did not get along during production. They found it a very tough shoot working together and very chaotic with a whole lot of tension. This was also during the time when Debra Winger was actually fighting a cocaine addiction, and it even led to her and Shirley MacLaine having a shoving match at one point. They did, however, love working with Jack Nicholson, though MacLaine admitted he is very crazy, but it really worked for their performance. In fact, Nicholson and MacLaine would both very often show up to the set almost completely naked as a joke and improvise a lot of their scenes.
Much too good for children.
Mum!
Scrumptious.
But it wasn't just Nicholson. James L. Brooks reportedly liked to play mind games on set to mess with the cast and would terrorize them to keep them on their toes. MacLaine allegedly drove to the airport during production at one point, determined to quit. Right away, Shirley MacLaine's character of Aurora is already a questionable mother.
Rudyard, she's not breathing.
Honey, she's sleeping. The baby's sleeping.
No. Rudyard, it's crib death.
She's very calm considering her baby isn't breathing.
They're all mistakes, children. Filthy, nasty things. Glad I never was one.
And the film doesn't hang around, it immediately gets going. Straight away, Emma is about to get married and her mother waits for the day before the wedding to say that she doesn't like her fiancé and thinks that she's making a terrible mistake. Way to leave it for the last minute. She never says why. I mean, I guess the message is, Mama always knows best. If your mama don't like them, there's something wrong. To be fair, growing up, it's clear that Aurora was lonely after losing her husband, and due to that became overbearing and clingy towards her own child. So it makes sense that she's now terrified of losing her to a man and tries to sabotage it. And then we meet Jeff Daniels, who looks about 10.
I feel so totally good about us. I hope I get pregnant tonight.
That would be nice.
It's your wedding night! Chill out, you've still got time!
My idea of a perfect house is one in which there are no children at all.
So why did you have so many of your own then? Oh, and if my girl made these sounds as I went down on her?
Here comes the bride.
Yeah, I'd be leaving her ass.
You!
What?
Sell me a lemon!
Okay. It's 50p, please.
Who's that short gentleman?
The guy with that stupid haircut!
You know him? DeVito's accent is so southern in this too, so it takes a while to get used to it. But he keeps trying to pork Aurora, which is as cringy as it sounds. But anyway, they move away as Jeff Daniels has a new job, and it's treated all emotionally, despite, at least at this point, us just seeing Aurora being nothing but a complete bitch. I mean, Emma's also leaving her best friend Patsy, who she's always promised to be best friends with and for their children to be best friends, but that's just completely shoved to one side. And they also have no care for seatbelts. Yeah, brilliant. But during Emma's absence, Aurora takes a liking to her quite rude neighbor.
You know, there's something about your manner. It's like you're trying to toy with me.
No, that's just Jack Nicholson. Why is everyone trying to bang this woman? Danny DeVito's all over her, and then Jack Nicholson comes along and says, oh yeah, Aurora, you're so sexy. Come here and let me tap your butt.
But, did you say butt?
Yeah.
My butt was the most scrumptious butt in the entire world.
Oh, Mum! But weirdly, their kid has this dramatic moment where he takes off his coat and walks outside with a bit of string and just sits on the porch. Now, I get it, don't get me wrong. It's symbolising his loneliness and his isolation from his parents. But it's built up all dramatic like something horrible is about to happen to him. And then it doesn't. And then it's never mentioned again. It's just bizarre. But Emma starts to fear that her fella is cheating on her and tries to get it out of him. And this acting and dialogue is incredible and deserves all of its recognition.
If you are doing something, and you're trying to make me feel crazy because I'm bearing our child, then you may have just sunk to a point so low that you will never recover.
And the messed up thing is, in the book, it was even worse. Because he cheated with her best friend Patsy. What the hell? The film does do a great job of being relatable, as Emma takes the kids shopping, but unfortunately, loads of crazy people bought out all of the toilet paper. I mean, she doesn't have the money to pay. She's anxious and starts taking items off of the bill, hoping people won't notice, until John Lithgow steps in to pay for the rest. Uh-oh, everybody! Be warned! We have a nice guy on the loose! A nice guy! Code red! Code red!
Not bad, huh?
For real though, we've all been here, and it's heartbreaking to see as we grow to empathise with Emma throughout the entire movie. This is when Aurora gets depressed about her age and decides she wants Jack Nicholson's dick. But the issue is, he hit on her and asked her out years ago in the film's timeline, and they make out like they've not even spoken to each other since. He doesn't even remember it.
I was curious if you still wanted to take me to lunch.
I wasn't aware that I don't know what to...
No, a few years back, you invited me to lunch.
But I must admit, Debra Winger is absolutely adorable in this. She is so damn cute. Until she begins to cheat with John Lithgow. God damn it, Emma, I had your back. Why would you do that? Why?
Typical slothful cowardice.
But here's a shocker for you. Jack Nicholson plays a crazy, over-the-top wild man. And despite him being an arse, they make out, but then he grabs a tit and ruins it. The tit grabbing wasn't scripted. Acting?
Disgusting!
But their back and forth relationship is just hilarious.
Would you like to come in?
I'd rather stick needles in my eyes.
And then they have an emotional moment where he admits he just loves insulting her. Okay. It is nice to see Aurora finally loosen up though. Not like that!
Disgusting!
What are you talking about?
And start to enjoy herself. She's been lonely since her husband died, and now someone has shown her attention and she's happy. But they also say that she's not had sex in ages, even though Danny DeVito's been stalking her the entire film. If you're that desperate, just bang the penguin! But it is hilarious how Aurora gets all glamoured up and ready to make love, and calls him over, but Nicholson just shows up from the pool looking like this. No effort whatsoever. All jokes aside, the film does do a great job showing that he's a poor parent and she's practically doing everything single-handedly. It is an inspiring story for mothers.
I'm lying here next to the astronaut.
Are you really? How was it?
Dude, that's your mum! I wouldn't dream of even mentioning sex in front of my mum, let alone what I'm doing in my sex life. But it is nice to see a mum so happy. But Nicholson, I guess, isn't a family man and backs away, ending the relationship. It is really cute and sweet though, as the mother and daughter bond and rekindle their relationship again. But it turns out that Emma gets diagnosed with cancer and now has a limited time left.
Tell them it's okay to talk about the cancer.
Patsy tells us you have cancer.
But how does this movie make cancer funny? You're sick. You are sick, movie. Sick. But why is Danny DeVito there? He's just randomly in the background and is never even acknowledged. I swear, his character is completely pointless in this movie and he's just trying to get some extra scenes. But it is truly heartbreaking to see Emma's health deteriorating. We've seen her character's growth over the whole film. You still love her. You can at least understand her actions and want her to get through this. So, there's just some great moments in this scene. Firstly, I will say this. These two are obviously troubled with issues. But despite their actions, they clearly still love each other.
Speak up!
As warped as that is, just hear me out. It's worth noting that during her entire cancer treatment, Emma's sideman never once visits her in the hospital. We're not even sure she even told him that she was sick, but it shows that she kept things from him. Whereas her husband visited a lot. They moved to Nebraska to, Emma believed, relocate to a new job, but it was actually to be with his new girlfriend. However, he never left Emma over it. Now, I'm not condoning being unfaithful whatsoever. They are both wrong in that aspect completely. But my point is, they both made mistakes, but always stuck together in the end. In this scene, he even wears the tie that she bought him years earlier, and it makes her so happy that he actually made that effort. They even laugh about their own mistakes. It's a nice little reconciliation moment where they just put aside their differences and for one final time resolve their issues. They try to work out where the kids are going to go after she dies, and he reluctantly agrees that her mother should get them with him having visitation rights. And this only adds to the relationship with Emma and her mother. Her mother stays at the hospital day in and day out. Even when Emma disobeyed her and married the guy anyway, she still called and talked to her on the phone. She helped financially whenever she needed it. And here she is now taking on 3 grandchildren at the age of 50.
She's really 52.
It's just a beautifully written conclusion, and then she has to say goodbye to her kids, but her eldest is reluctant to open up and show feelings. But Emma's dialogue is perfect.
For the last year or 2, you've been pretending like you hate me. I love you very much. I love you as much as I love anybody. As much as I love myself. And in a few years, when I haven't been around to be on your tail about something or irritating you, you're gonna remember. You can remember that time that I bought you the baseball glove when you thought we were too broke, you know? Or when I read you those stories, or when I let you goof off instead of mowing the lawn, lots of things like that. And you're gonna realize that you love me.
It's such a gut-wrenching scene, and honestly, if you feel nothing watching it, you are dead inside!
He was telling me that the Cub Scouts in Houston are the best ever.
We were never scouts. Our mother was too lazy to check it out.
Good, little bastard.
Use the rod, beat the child. That's my motto.
And fittingly, Emma takes one final look at her mother before passing away. And this is just heartbreaking. I love you, Mum!
Demented, drooling, slime-breathed little Lilliputian.
Happy Mother's Day! Oh, why is DeVito still hanging around? Someone get him out of there! The acting is on point and the story written perfectly. The characters sell it. Nicholson is hilarious, Emma is strong and independent but sometimes vulnerable and relatable. Aurora is a bit of a bitch, but you can see why. It's over 2 hours long, but to me, it never seems to drag. It meshes comedy with drama perfectly and opens up some very real themes about insecurities and self-esteem. It's just a masterpiece of cinematic brilliance. So, Mum, where do you want to go for Mother's Day?
Cruncham Hall Elementary School.
I don't know what I made her say because I have no idea at the time of recording this, but okay, we'll go there.